Good morning, my fellow Americans. Eddie Marcus here again, this Friday morning, early as usual, around 4 a.m. I'm here because I'm excited on the one hand, sad on the other. Sad about what's really still going on in our society, and excited because I got a solution. But before I give you the solution, let me see if we can all get on the same page about the problem. We have to know that we have a problem before we will even pay any interest in change. The problem is that there are so many beautiful things that could be happening in our lives today. When I say beautiful, I mean there are needs that are being denied, wants and desires not even being considered. And as a people who have the power to actually experience these things and allow ourselves to be denied, it's a form of bondage that we need to be released from. And in order for that to happen, you must at least get the truth. Now, we're talking about the things that's happening politically today. You have a new administration, Democrats in power. They say, we know what the Republicans are doing. And when I say that, I have made it clear about the role that the Republicans are playing in this game of life, if you want to call it that. And I also made a distinction between the Republicans who think according to the dictates of Trump and the super right wingers, as opposed to those who are not that stretched out. And I also made it clear that on the sides of the Democrats who are not as far gone as Republicans, but yet are still far gone. And they play a major role in the pain and suffering that you, the people, feel. They play a major role in that process because the process itself is designed to do exactly what it's doing. It's designed to do exactly what it's doing. Let me give you an example. Those of you who are being denied education because of money, those of you who have been denied adequate living in a house or home or apartment or getting away from jobs if you got one when you needed to be somewhere else and not have to worry about a lack of loss of pay. These things that they're supposed to be there to prop you up because they're supposed to be there anyway. But the way the system is designed is to rob you, take them from you, and then if need be, if you wiggle enough, they might prop you up a little bit by giving you something. Maybe giving you some paid leave, a certain amount, to make you think that they're good while they've robbed you. But you don't know it because the system has been set there for so long, it's a normal way of doing things. So you know the Republicans, those who are in the political front, have decided that they are not going to do anything to help anybody that's suffering, not just Democrats, but Republicans as well. And then allow the suffering to occur and blame it on the Democrats. The Democrats weren't ready while they sat back and wouldn't do anything. See how stupid they are playing you, the American people? You see this, but you're buying into that explanation, and you know, well, either way, you didn't get what you want. They might have got what they want, and then got you to go to the poll and vote against the Democrat. See how the game is played, ladies and gentlemen? They got that control because they've been handed that control down from the beginning of the theft. This thing ain't nothing new. This is old, big old game of crooks and cops and robbers, or crooks and good people. Where the good people at? They not good enough. Why? They allow evil to continue. Now, you got these Republicans responding this way. Now you got the Democrats who want you to think that we're going to build America back better. Oh, you've been on your knees. Now you're excited. The whole nation is excited. We're going to be able to do these things. Yes, finally our prayers are going to be answered. And then on the Democrat side, we got these people who say, oh, no. We're not going to help them get that. They don't deserve that. Why should the rich pay for that? Oh, no, no, no. Now you got the Democrats who made this great big promise to you. And in this promise, they got the Democrats themselves speaking against what the Democrats have promised you. You put these people in office because they promised you they were going to try to do something. You were fed up with the people who were there before because they did nothing. And you got these people promising that they're going to do something. So they put them there and they go there to do something and you stop them. That doesn't look like what you call a happenstance to me. To me, that's part of a plan. Part of a plan to make you, the people, think that somebody tried to do something for you, got you confused and still a little angry, but accomplishing nothing. And your kids can't go to school. And you can't get your bills paid. You don't have the money to do this. You're living like the same slaves that lived back in your worst imagination. They say you'll give you a couple of dollar raise. You get a couple of dollar raise and the price of gas go up. You go to the dollar store, even the dollar store food, they don't go up on the price, but they cut back with the substance in the canned goods. You're getting water. Everybody just you get pain and suffering. The storms come up, life come through, mess up everything. Now what happens when you need help the most? What happens? The price goes up. That's what. Any compassion there? Any empathy there? Any love there? No. But that's the way of the system, ladies and gentlemen. Now, don't get mad with your Republicans. They learned that through the system that we live under. Don't get mad with your Democrats. They learned that. And don't be getting mad with one another. You learn what you have learned. But be wise. Now is the time to wake up. You feel the pain. You see on the one side they don't care. You see on the other side they can't do anything. And you see in this process you are a loser. But there is hope. If you can wake up. If you can believe that this earth was made by an invisible power. Now that doesn't mean that the power wasn't visible. It just means that we never seen it. We don't know what it was. But we do know the earth is here. And we do know that there are times when things don't exist, all of a sudden begin to exist. We know the difference between a horse and buggy and a jet going up into space to play games. Things do change. And yes, we might... Something just fell down. And yes, we might have, for one reason or another, allowed this continued process of slavery and mastery to continue to exist. And we might not even be able to understand, most of us, why it exists. But the greatest and the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is to wake up and end it. This power made this earth for you. All of the natural resources came not by any human being, even though they got their names on it. It's just a system that was set up to manipulate and take advantage of resources with the understanding that it was about selfishness, dog eat dog, use it to abuse it, because they didn't know any better. And there have been those who have come along to try to teach them better. But those who have robbed the system, they can't see it. They are not going to give up anything without having to. You see, they really got no power. Every piece of power they got is power that's ripped from you. And you can rip that power back at any moment. Not to be vicious, but just to say, oh, I caught it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Nope, nope. The game is over. You can't use me anymore. You can't use me anymore. We're gonna start looking out for one another. We're not gonna trust you anymore because right now you are billionaires, millionaires, and billionaires, and trying to be trillionaires, and we're over here learning that the resources came from a power that we can't see and not from you, and that it was designed so that if each of us work, if each of us use our gifts to participate in the process of taking care of the whole human family, then we're entitled to all that exists. Don't cost us nothing but what we do in the process of creating it. And all of this stuff about this buying and you owning and taxes and all that stuff right there has nothing to do with anything. It's a side hustle. It's a scam set up to abuse the system. The system that God has set before, because you don't see God, because God is invisible. And because the people don't understand God, they won't let God live in them so they can stand up and be a physical representation of God and stand up against your evilness. What is your evilness? Your evilness is that which caused the pain and suffering. Your evilness is that which says a person got to go through these changes, get sick, can't go to the doctor, get cancer, and they're dying and are going to die. And they can't even just make a decision to get out of this stuff. You want to hold them here and make them suffer. Suffer just like you made them suffer through life, and the end of life you want them to continue to suffer. Why you want them to do that? Because you don't know any better. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know this. All of America and every human being on this earth, we're basically a reflection of what we have become out of what we've seen and been taught. Wisdom, it has been very expensive. There's a little wisdom that's walking around here now. But there is some, and we must utilize it. Because if we don't, we will be destroyed. Americans, listen. Don't be stupid. Be smart. People really promising this and that means nothing unless you decide that you're going to make it mean something. The promises that were made when the world stood up and said, yes, what America experienced through the death and murder of George Floyd, we as people across the globe are going through the same things, and we don't know what to do about it. America, it is happening to you. Stand up. We stand with you. Please set an example. Do something about it. And the promises were made only to come here today, and nothing has happened. Hypocrisy. The game of evil. You know, I talked about the God of love and the God of evil. When I talk about, because you might not know what it means when I say God of love. So let me call it the God of righteousness. Let's just say righteousness. What is right? Right is right, and wrong is wrong. Let's put it that way. Now, when we have to make a distinction, we try to keep right to the degree that it causes no pain or suffering to anyone. And if it does, when it is known, made known, identified, then every effort is made to eliminate it. Now, wrong is going to achieve, and it doesn't matter what it does, anyway necessary. Pain and suffering, it's okay, as long as they get the outcome. And the outcome has to do with self. It has nothing to do with us, y'all, beyond what we need or what it needs in order to be successful in this endeavor. Now, that is the distinction between the two. So when we start, I've talked a long time, repeated myself many times. We need it. So what I'm asking you to do is to allow the spirit of love to live in you, the spirit of righteousness. Righteousness. And when I say righteousness, you're probably going to say, what am I to guide it on? Am I to judge righteousness on what I've been taught up to this point? And if I'm supposed to go beyond that, how do I judge the move to make? Well, here I say, you take the righteousness and apply it in those areas where you have seen failure. It doesn't even have to be with you. If you haven't failed in any area, it should be easier for you to take that righteousness and look in the area, reflect back on the areas where failure has been represented, And from that righteousness, it will identify the moves to make. But in order to do that, it has to be a genuine source. In other words, you have to be pure in your initiatives. You can't be out there looking for it. You got to be genuine. Otherwise, your selfishness is going to keep you flawed and you won't be able to see the truth. So that's how you make the distinction. And I'm saying all of this to say this point, make this point. You can have heaven on earth. You can have paradise on earth. You can. It was given to you from the beginning. It has been given away, and it has been allowed to continue to exist up until this very day. But the power of love and righteousness wants you to know that you got the power to change it any day. Imagine Republicans, Donald Trump and his people don't want people of color and black folks to experience certain things in life. Imagine that. Imagine the states want to change and take over all of the rules and regulations that has to do with governing so they can control and manipulate and cause pain and suffering for their benefit on other people of color. Just imagine that. Imagine when this exists and Democrats have a chance to make some kind of move and make things a little bit better. You got Democrats saying no. Imagine that. Well, you don't have to imagine it. It's happening. And what you gonna do? They expect. I'm just repeating myself. I know they're expecting you to say, "Well, I knew they weren't gonna do it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna switch party." See there? They playing you to be a fool. Don't be a fool.